Have you ever heard the saying, you get what you want when you stop needing it? It sounds a little paradoxical, doesn't it? The very thing you desire comes to you when you stop obsessing over it. But the truth behind this statement is powerful, and it speaks volumes about how we approach life, goals, and our desires. In a world where we are constantly told to chase after what we want, this message stands out as a gentle reminder that sometimes the key to achieving our dreams lies not in relentless pursuit, but in finding peace and contentment with where we are. It teaches us that the more we chase something out of desperation or need, the more elusive it becomes. But when we learn to let go, embrace patience, trust Allah's plan, and be grateful for what we have, the very things we seek often come to us naturally. This concept is not just a motivational quote. It is deeply rooted in Islamic teachings and divine wisdom. Our desire for success, wealth, love, and peace are all perfectly natural, yet Islam teaches us a different way of looking at our desires. It encourages us to adopt a mindset of trust, patience, and contentment. When we stop needing something, we free ourselves from the burden of anxiety and restlessness. We start trusting in Allah's plan, knowing that He will give us what is best for us at the right time. In this video, we'll explore how letting go of the intense need for something can actually bring it into your life. We'll discuss the importance of patience, the role of gratitude, and the powerful concept of trust in Allah's timing. This mindset shift not only leads to achieving your goals, but it also brings a sense of inner peace, contentment, and true happiness. Stay with us as we unpack this life-changing principle, rooted in the teachings of Islam, and learn how to embrace it for a more fulfilling and balanced life. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, Deen Xplorers, for more inspiring content. 1. Understanding attachment and need. Attachment is an inherent part of being human. As we grow and experience the world, we develop attachments to people, places, and things. These attachments can become so deep that we begin to believe that we need them to feel complete, fulfilled, or happy. However, this attachment, especially when it turns into an overwhelming need, can lead to dissatisfaction and even distress. The more we believe that we need something, the more we tie our happiness to it. This creates a dangerous cycle of dependence, where our emotional well-being becomes tied to the external things we believe we must have to be happy. In Islam, we are taught that true contentment comes from within and is rooted in our relationship with Allah. While it is natural to have desires and work towards them, we are also reminded that we should not let these desires control us. Allah created this world with all its temptations and desires, yet He also provided us with the wisdom and guidance to navigate them. It is important to remember that Allah is the ultimate provider and sustainer, and everything that happens in our lives is a result of His will. When we allow our attachment to material things or even people to grow too strong, we forget the most important thing. Allah is the one who sustains us. This attachment leads to a sense of constant wanting, a feeling of never having enough. We start to believe that without these things, we will never be truly content. But this is a false belief. True peace comes from understanding that Allah is in control and that He will provide for us what is best for us at the right time. Attachment can often come from fear, the fear of losing something or not being able to attain it. However, when we realize that our lives are in the hands of Allah, this fear starts to diminish. Instead of fearing the loss of something, we begin to trust that whatever is meant for us will come in the way Allah has planned. When we stop viewing our desires as needs, we free ourselves from the stress and anxiety that often accompanies them. Instead of constantly striving for things we think will make us happy, we learn to find joy and peace in the present moment. True contentment comes from a balance between striving for what we want and understanding that we do not control the outcomes. We do our best and make the effort, but we must also understand that the results are in Allah's hands. This mindset helps us break free from unhealthy attachments, It also allows us to shift our focus from what we need to what we already have. Gratitude for the blessings we already have is an essential part of being content. And when we stop constantly chasing after more, we begin to see the beauty in what we already possess. Attachment, when unchecked, can lead to frustration. It can make us feel like we are constantly chasing something that is just out of reach. This mindset makes it harder to enjoy life because we are always focused on what we don't have instead of appreciating what we do. This is where the wisdom of Islam comes into play. Islam teaches us to seek balance, to desire good things and work towards them, but to not let those desires become obsessions. When we let go of the need for things to go a certain way, we open ourselves to the possibility that Allah has something even better in store for us. Letting go of attachment and need is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of strength. It takes courage to trust that Allah knows what is best for us, especially when we don't understand the reasons behind certain outcomes in our lives. But it is through this trust that we find true peace. When we stop needing something to be happy, we create space for the blessings Allah wants to give us. Instead of forcing things into our lives, we allow Allah's plan to unfold naturally. We become more patient, more peaceful, and ultimately, more content. 2. Contentment in simplicity. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with messages that tell us we need more money, more possessions, more success, more status. We are led to believe that happiness and fulfillment are found in the accumulation of wealth and material things. Yet, in the simplicity of life, true contentment is found. Allah teaches us that happiness doesn't lie in external possessions or achievements, but in the internal peace and satisfaction that come when we are content with what we have. When we stop chasing after worldly desires and learn to appreciate the blessings we already possess, we discover a deep and lasting contentment. The concept of contentment is an important value in Islam. It is not about having less, but about wanting less and being grateful for what we have. A simple life, focused on the essentials, allows us to align our hearts with Allah's will. The more we strive for material success, the more we risk becoming distracted from our true purpose, to worship and serve Allah. Islam encourages us to find balance, to work hard and pursue our goals, but without letting our desires consume us. True happiness lies not in accumulating wealth, but in finding peace with simplicity and being grateful for the abundance we already have. Living a life of contentment doesn't mean rejecting all material possessions or living in poverty. Rather, it means understanding the fleeting nature of worldly goods and prioritizing spiritual wealth over material wealth. It means finding joy in the little things, in the warmth of a family meal, in the beauty of nature, in the peace of a quiet moment with Allah. When we focus on these simple blessings, we begin to see that contentment does not require us to have everything we want, but rather to be satisfied with what we need. It is important to note that contentment in simplicity does not mean inaction. It is still necessary to strive for success, to work hard, and to seek improvement in our lives. However, the difference is that when we adopt a mindset of simplicity, we do so without becoming attached to the results. We learn to be satisfied with whatever Allah has decreed for us, knowing that our efforts, regardless of the outcome, are valued by Him. This mindset shifts our focus from the external to the internal, from the material to the spiritual. When we stop defining our worth by what we own or what we achieve, we begin to realize that contentment is an internal state, not an external condition. Contentment is not about having everything. It's about being at peace with what we have. It is a mindset that allows us to experience true happiness, even in the midst of life's challenges. By embracing simplicity, we open ourselves to a life filled with gratitude, peace, and satisfaction, regardless of our material circumstances. One of the most profound aspects of contentment is the ability to let go of comparisons. In a world where social media often magnifies the lives of others, it is easy to fall into the trap of comparing our lives with those of others. However, this comparison only leads to dissatisfaction and discontent. When we focus on our own blessings and are content with what Allah has provided, we free ourselves from the burden of comparison. We realize that our worth is not measured by what others have, but by our relationship with Allah and the peace we find within ourselves. Contentment in simplicity is not just a lifestyle choice, it is a spiritual practice. It is an act of submission to Allah, recognizing that His plans are better than our own, and that true happiness comes from aligning our desires with His will. When we live simply and with gratitude, we experience the true meaning of contentment, a peace that cannot be taken away by the world, a peace that comes from knowing that Allah is the provider of all that we need. 3. The role of patience in achieving what you want. Patience is one of the most powerful and rewarding virtues that a believer can possess. It is often said that patience is the key to success, and this is especially true when it comes to achieving what we want in life. In Islam, patience is not merely about waiting, but about maintaining a positive attitude and staying steadfast in the face of challenges and delays. It is the ability to persevere, trust in Allah's timing, and remain hopeful despite the obstacles that may come our way. When we understand and embody the true meaning of patience, we begin to realize that achieving what we truly want often requires time, effort, and unwavering faith. Patience is crucial because it allows us to endure difficult situations without becoming disheartened or giving up. In our pursuit of goals, whether they are personal, professional, or spiritual, there will be moments when things don't go according to plan. There will be setbacks, frustrations, and delays. But it is in these moments that patience becomes our greatest ally. Rather than reacting impulsively or succumbing to despair, patience allows us to approach difficulties with a calm and steady heart. It reminds us that good things take time, and that the struggles we face are part of the process toward achieving what we desire. The role of patience in achieving what we want is deeply intertwined with our ability to trust in Allah's timing. Often, we may desire something, but it does not come to us right away. This delay can be frustrating, and it may cause us to doubt whether we will ever achieve our goal. However, in Islam, we are taught that everything happens in Allah's perfect timing. What we want may not come to us immediately, but it will come when the time is right. Patience helps us understand that the journey toward our goals is just as important as the destination itself. Patience also teaches us the importance of perseverance. Achieving what we want is rarely easy. Whether it is personal growth, academic success, career advancement, or even spiritual progress, we will face challenges along the way. The key to success is not avoiding obstacles, but learning to face them with patience and determination. The ability to keep going despite setbacks is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who give up too soon. In the pursuit of our goals, there are moments of frustration when things do not seem to be progressing. It is in these moments that patience becomes essential. It is easy to lose hope when progress seems slow or when things do not go as expected. But when we are patient, we are able to maintain a sense of perspective. We remind ourselves that success takes time, and that the road to achieving our goals is often long and filled with challenges. Rather than feeling defeated by setbacks, we see them as opportunities to learn, grow, and improve. Patience helps us stay focused on the bigger picture, rather than being consumed by temporary difficulties. One of the most important lessons that patience teaches us is the ability to remain grateful for what we have, even when we are waiting for more. It is easy to fall into the trap of always wanting more success, more wealth, more recognition. However, Islam teaches us to be content with what we have, even as we strive for more. When we practice patience, We learn to appreciate the blessings that are already in our lives, rather than focusing solely on what we do not have. This gratitude helps us stay grounded and focused on what truly matters. In the end, patience is a form of worship. When we remain patient in the face of difficulty, we are showing our trust in Allah and our belief that He knows what is best for us. Every moment of patience is a moment of spiritual growth. It strengthens our faith and draws us closer to Allah. In times of hardship, when we feel like giving up, patience reminds us to stay connected to our Creator and to trust in His wisdom. 4. The importance of gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful emotions that a person can experience. It has the ability to transform our perspective on life and elevate our spiritual and emotional well-being. In Islam, gratitude is not merely a feeling or a fleeting emotion, but a practice and an essential part of our relationship with Allah. Being grateful means acknowledging the blessings that Allah has bestowed upon us, no matter how big or small they may seem. It is a way of recognizing that everything we have is a gift, and that we are indebted to Allah for His endless mercy and generosity. When we practice gratitude, we shift our focus from what we lack to what we already possess. We move away from the feeling of wanting more and learn to appreciate the blessings that are already present in our lives. This shift in mindset is powerful because it helps us become more content, peaceful, and satisfied. Instead of feeling restless and unsatisfied, gratitude allows us to feel fulfilled and thankful for the blessings we have. When we are truly grateful, we are not constantly chasing after things we do not need. We learn to find happiness in the present moment and recognize the beauty in what we already have. When we focus on gratitude, we develop a deeper sense of awareness about the countless blessings that Allah has bestowed upon us. From the basic necessities of life such as food, water, and shelter, to the more abstract blessings like health, family, and love, we realize that our lives are filled with gifts that we may have taken for granted. Gratitude allows us to stop and reflect on these blessings, no matter how simple they may seem. Moreover, practicing gratitude enhances our mental and emotional well-being. Studies have shown that gratitude reduces stress, improves mood, and fosters a sense of well-being. It helps us focus on the positive aspects of our lives, rather than dwelling on the negative. In this way, gratitude is not only a spiritual practice, but also a psychological tool that promotes happiness and resilience. It allows us to approach life with a sense of optimism and hope, even when things are not going as planned. One practical way to cultivate gratitude in our lives is through daily reflection. Taking a moment each day to pause and reflect on the blessings we have can help us shift our mindset from scarcity to abundance. Whether it's through journaling, prayer, or simply taking a moment to appreciate what we have, these small acts of gratitude can transform our outlook on life. By consistently acknowledging our blessings, we begin to develop an attitude of thankfulness that becomes ingrained in our hearts and actions. In the end, gratitude is a means of drawing closer to Allah. The more we express our gratitude, the more we recognize His greatness and mercy. Gratitude is a form of worship that brings us peace, contentment, and an increased sense of connection to our Creator. It reminds us that all of our blessings, big and small, are gifts from Allah, and that we are never truly alone in our journey. By being grateful, we acknowledge Allah's presence in our lives, and we open our hearts to His endless mercy. As we wrap up, remember that true fulfillment comes not from relentlessly chasing after what you want, but from trusting in Allah's plan and embracing patience and gratitude. When you stop needing something, you open the door for it to come to you in the most beautiful and unexpected ways. Trust that what is meant for you will find its way into your life at the perfect time. If you found this message inspiring, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Deen Xplorers. Stay connected with us for more uplifting and motivational content. May Allah bless you with peace, contentment, and all that is good in this life and the next.